Did you guys learn about the metric system?
Yes.
Tell me, did you have to measure objects using the metric system in elementary school?
Yeah.
What kind of things? So hold on, raise your hand, tell me. What are some things you had to measure using the metric system? Logan? The size of the classroom? What tool did you use? Meter stick, a ruler?
Meter sticks.
Okay. Bella, what else?
We measured the tiles on the floor in centimeters.
Oh, okay, floor tiles in centimeters. Derek?
We measured the desks.
Okay. All right, so you did some measurement. Did you ever measure the volume of a liquid
Yeah.
using a graduated cylinder?
Yes.
Did you ever measure the mass of something using a balance? Okay. So these are all things we're going to do in this unit. And we need to talk first, though, about the metric system, about the units, and get sort of the basics of that down first. So you guys told me a little bit about the metric system earlier. And there's some important differences between the metric system and the customary system or English system that we use in our everyday lives. We will only use the metric system in science class. So we'll never use feet and inches, pounds, ounces in science class. We always use the metric system. That's true of science throughout the world. Scientists in their research use metric units. Okay. Now, if I were to ask you how many inches in a foot, you could probably tell me, right?
12.
Why 12?
Because if you count there's
Right. But why did they discern 12? Who knows? How many ounces in a pound?
16.
Why 16?
Oh.
Who knows?
Last 64.
How many feet in a mile?
5,000. I get your point though. It's right numbers.
200? Maybe? So, those are all English customary units. Is there any sort of system to that? They're seemingly random numbers. And so converting from one unit to another is a challenge sometimes. The metric system is set up differently. It's set up based on the power of what?
Multiplication.
Power of 10. So all units are based on a power of 10, and that makes the conversion from unit to unit pretty easy. Because all you need to do is multiply and divide by 10, or multiples of 10. And as you probably know from math class, when multiplying and dividing by units of 10, what can you really do? You just move the decimal place, a certain number of places. And so conversion from unit to unit is easy. In the metric system, each aspect that we're measuring, mass, length, volume, have what we call a base unit. And then the other units are named with a prefix plus that base unit. For example, the base unit for measuring length in the metric system, does anyone know what it is? The base unit for measuring length in the metric system. Good?
Meters?
Yeah, meters.
Oh.
And then you have millimeters, centimeters, kilometers. You have variations on that. What's the base unit for mass in the metric system? Anyone have any idea? Bella? Grams. How about volume? Jade? Oh. Liters. Okay? So, we have the base unit, and then we have prefixes we add to that base unit to change it. And so, here are the main prefixes. You're going to have to use some of them. Others are not that commonly used. So we have the base unit. Units smaller than the base unit are deci, centi, and milli. Units larger than the base unit are deca, hecto, kilo. There are units beyond this, but we're not going to get into those. Okay. The ones you actually only need to know are these: kilo, centi, and milli. But if you can remember the order converting is going to be very easy. Some of you have learned a sentence to help you remember that. Does anyone remember it? King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. Write that on your paper if you've never heard it. King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. Because if you can remember that word, the conversion is simple. And we'll do some examples in a minute. All right, so the prefix kilo means 1,000. So a kilometer is 1,000 meters. A kilogram is 1,000 grams. Kiloliter is 1,000 liters. Centi. Centi is 0.01, which is 1/100th. A centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. Milli is 1,000th, or 0.001. So, how many meters in a kilometer? How many meters make up a kilometer? Griffin? 1,000. Now I'm asking you a little bit differently here. How many centimeters are in 1 meter? Derek?
100.
Yeah, 100. How many millimeters in 1 meter? Danielle? 1,000. So how do I convert from one unit to another? Using this chart. Derek?
You multiply or divide by 10, 100, 1,000, or more.
Yes. And rather than actually multiplying and dividing, we're just going to move decimals over. If I want to convert from my base unit to kilo, how many places and in which direction do I move my decimal place to go from the base unit to kilo? Joey?
3 times to the left.
1, 2, 3. I move my decimal 3 to the left and I convert from the base unit to kilo. What if I want to go base unit to centi? What do I do to the decimal point? Arpan? To the right, 2 places. How about the base unit to milli? Chloe? 1, 2, 3. Milli to centi. Cameron?
Decimal 1 time to the left.
One's to the left. Centi to milli. Colin?
1 time to the right.
1 to the right. Kilo to centi. Matt? 5 times to the right. Kilo to milli. Joey?
6 times to the right.
6 to the right. Milli to kilo. Logan?
6 times to the left.
6 to the left. Centi to kilo. Arpan? 5 to the left. So, if you can, you really won't, you can have it on your paper right now. After a while, you just won't be able to envision this chart and just know how many to move in each place. Because we really only convert in those 4 basic units. But it's just moving the decimal place the right direction and the right number of times. So let's look at some practice. As I think Bella said, gram is the base unit for mass in the metric system. How many grams in a kilogram? How many grams in a kilogram? Derek?
1,000.
1,000. How many milligrams in a gram? Arpan? 1,000. How many milligrams in a kilogram? little more of a challenge. Milligrams in a kilogram. Griffin?
10,000.
No. Logan? No. Danielle?
100,000.
Close, but not quite. You missed one. Derek?
A million.
A million. We would move over 6 points. All right, I'm going to put this up a little bit. All right, milligrams. Let's look at some of these conversions. Milligrams to grams. So if I want to convert milli to the base unit, grams, first tell me how many places and which direction am I moving the decimal place. Milli to the base unit. Bella?
3 times to the left.
3 to the left. But I don't have a decimal point.
Make one.
Where does it go?
And
After the 0. Okay, what am I moving, Bella? What'd you say?
3 times to the left.
3 times to the left. 1, 2, 3. Put it there. Erase it there. How many grams? 1.
That's easy.
Yep. How about 1 kilogram to grams? Base unit to kilo. Which direction? How many places? Derek?
3 times to the right. No,
Base unit to kilo.
to the left.
3 times to the left. Where's the decimal?
Make one before the one.
Before the 1?
After the one. After the one.
And what? 3 to the left, there's nothing to go. There's nowhere to go.
After the one.
What do I do?
Keep going.
Fill it with zeros. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3. I did it the wrong way.
Well, so I was right first time, right?
Yeah.
0.00.
We're convert. I said grams to kilograms, but it actually says kilograms to grams. So yes, you're right. 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. 1,000 grams. Centimeters to millimeters. How about somebody that has not been raising your hand a lot today? I know those of you who keep raising your hand know how to do this. Some of the other people. Centi to milli. Sophia, which direction first?
Right.
How many places?
1.
1 to the right. So what is it?
10 point.
Right. So here's a decimal, 1 to the right. Fill in with a 0. 1,600. Kilometers to meters. Kilometers to base unit. Someone else knew. How many places? Kilo to base unit. Kilo to base unit. Joey?
3 times to the left. Oh, right.
To the right, because kilo's on the far left. 3 times to the right. 1, 2, 3.
14.
Fill in. 14,000. Okay, see you later. 109 grams to kilograms. Colton, how many places do I move it in which direction?
3 places to the left.
Correct. What do I get?
109,000.
No, you're 3 points to the left. 1, 2. Oh, thousandths, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said thousand. 215 meters to kilometers. Meters to kilometers. How many places? Which direction? Kira?
3 to the left.
3 to the left. What do I get?
0.25.
Correct. Make sense? So again, converting the metrics is much easier than trying to convert in the English system. Now, what if we have to compare measurements? What do we have to do first when comparing two measurements? Jaden?
Look at the measurement. So like millimeters. Centimeters.
Yeah, and then what do I have to do once I see them? Griffin?
If they're bigger than the base unit or they're less than the base unit.
Okay. So centimeters is smaller, meters is the base unit, but I have 56 centimeters and I have 6 meters. What do I have to do? Well,
You have to convert them to the same unit.
I have to convert them to light units. So I could convert 56 centimeters to match meters, or I could convert this to centimeters so they match. Could I convert them both to kilometers? Yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as you convert them properly into the same unit, then I could compare them. So what should I fill in here? 56 centimeters versus 6 meters. So you could do the actual conversion, or you can just do it in your head.
Or do it.
Arpad? It's less than 6 meters, far less than, yes. How about 7 grams compared to 698 milligrams?
Yeah.
Ellen?
It's greater than.
Greater than.
Because it had to be 700 milligrams to equal 7.
Yes.
Because it's 100
If
milligrams.
7 grams is 700 milligrams. 1,500 milligrams versus 1.5 grams. Are you going to tell me how do they compare, Joey?
Less than.
No? Chloe?
Greater than.
What?
Greater than.
No? Kira?
Equals it.
They're equal. 1.5 grams, if we move it to the right 3 places, is 1,500 milligrams.
How did he move it to? Oh, 2 places.
Because milli
3.
to grams. Yep. All right. 536 centimeters versus 5.36 meters. Joey?
Greater than. Equal to.
So centimeters to meters. Which way do we go?
Left 1.
Left 2.
1.
1, 2. 3. We'll do more practice with this tomorrow. So, this is the metric system. We don't commonly use it. We use the English customary system. Has anyone traveled to another country?
We put the soils in.
Hold on. So, if you've ever been in almost any other country, you'll know what is used. What system of measurement? Metric system. You go to Canada, you'll see gas is sold not by the gallon, by the liter. You'll see that distances and road signs is in kilometers and not miles. Duh?
When I went to Canada, they sold milk in bags.
Yeah, Italy too.
Whole Foods sells water in boxes.
All right, so the metric system is used basically almost everywhere in the world. There are some exceptions. And those exceptions are 3 countries.
Us.
The United States, Liberia in Africa, and Myanmar in Southeast Asia.
I know you heard me.
Those are the only 3 countries whose official system of measurement is not the metric system.
They're super small.
So, every other country uses the metric system. So, just to put this in perspective, these are some examples of English customary units. They're all real units. Most of them originated several hundred years ago. Many of them originated in trade, agriculture, commerce, and they don't really have any meaning anymore. For example, a furlong is a unit of distance in the English system. It was meant to be the distance that a plow team could be driven without rest. A league is a unit of distance. It was meant to be about an hour's walk. These are actual volume units in the English system,
A whole day.
from smallest to largest. 2 mouthfuls is a jigger. 2 jiggers is a jack. 2 jacks is a jill. 2 jills a cup. 2 cups a pint. 2 pints a quart. 2 quarts a pottle. I've never even heard of a pottle. 2 pottles is a gallon. 2 gallons a peck. 2 pecks a kenny. 2 kennies a bushel. 2 bushels a cask. 2 casks a barrel. 2 barrels is a hogshead. That is an actual unit of measure in the customary system.
That's the
So,
pressure
would you
of
like to convert 93 quarts into how many hogsheads?
no.
Probably not.
That'd
Much
be annoying.
easier converting milliliters into liters in the metric system. Now, before we finish, where do the units in the metric system come from? The metric system was started to develop in the 18th century, and it was meant to be a more logical system of measurement, based in units of 10, allowing for easy conversion. Okay? The original meter was meant to be 1/10 millionth the distance between the North Pole and the equator running directly through Paris. After that, it got changed. A group of scientists agreed on a standard. They created a bar of platinum and osmium that represented this is the true distance that represents 1 meter. They made copies. They sent it around the world so that people, scientists, could have a standard that this is exactly 1 meter. You can still see those bars at different places around the world if you go and visit. Since it's even been changed further into a certain ratio of the wavelength of light, but based more in physics than an actual physical object, but the metric system was devised to make logical sense and to be easy to use. It's used around the world, so no matter what country you come from, you can read a scientific paper and understand the units being used because other scientists are using the same units. Tomorrow we'll practice a little bit with our conversions and start to actually measure some objects.